Hey everybody, welcome back to Corpse Factory, where, on the last episode, Emmy went ripperoony, but we have someone on the list. It's Kurosawa. She must perish. Speaking of whom, is this Kurosawa right now? Anyway, let's get back to the story. I've always liked the shape of my eyes. I can be critical about other parts of my body, but I'll never complain about my eyes. With or without makeup, I think they look great. Mother used to tell me I inherited her eyes, and my big sister inherited father's eyes. To be honest, I don't see any of father's features in myself or my sister, but I do agree that my eyes are an exact replicas of mother's. Mother doesn't see too well anymore, and that might be something I have to also worry about in the future, but for now, my eyes are perfect, and I couldn't be happier with them. I wear eyeshadow and eyeliner to bring out my best features. Some people tell me I use too much makeup, that I tend to overdo it and make myself look intimidating. Well, I don't really care. I mostly like the way I look, and honestly, how many people can claim the same? Today's morning ritual is the same as any other workday. I'm a slave to the wage, and I'm not proud of it. Call me a corporate sellout, but I can't survive without money. My alarm goes off at 6 a.m, the shower is running by 6:05, and I'm dry and dressed by 6:15. I skip breakfast because I'm watching my figure, and spend until 6:30 a.m. working on my makeup. I'm out of my cramped shoebox apartment by 6:45 a.m. Sometimes I catch my neighbour returning home from his overnight shift, and if so, I exchange simple pleasantries with him and continue on my way. Today, there is no sign of my neighbour, so I don't slow down as I descend the stairs and exit the building. Oh, we're going to be seeing Emmy. Hitting the convenience store for a can of coffee saps another few minutes from each day. I prefer sweet milk coffees, but every now and then I'm in the mood for a rich black coffee. Regardless, I never start the day without it. I don't always need the energy boost, but it helps to stop my stomach growling. It's a milk coffee kind of day, so I pay for my favourite brand and get out the store in no time. The canned coffee dives into my handbag as I continue on my way. The train station is always busy in the morning, and it's usually a struggle to navigate my way to the correct platform in time for 7:12 a.m. train. Today is no different. However, I always make it in time, because my routine has been perfected over the last few months. I board the train bound for Shinjuku. A cursory glance reveals there are no empty seats, so I push through the throng of bodies and stand against the carriage wall. Whenever there are seats available, I like to sit and read, but it's much more common to have a stand and stare at my phone screen like almost everyone else. When I do read, I read the classics: Stoker, Lovecraft, Poe. Horror, Western horror, at that, is my favourite genre. And of course, faithful translations into Japanese are as good as it gets. My English isn't as nearly strong enough to read these novels in their original language. I mean, honestly, Lovecraft is kind of tricky to read in the native language. If I'm stuck staring at my phone screen, I like to stalk people online. Acquaintances, or a few friends I have lead such boring lives. They post about the most mundane topics, all day, every day, acting like they'll shrivel up and die unless they get the attention they seek. I find their dull, tedious lives simply fascinating. From behind the safety of a glass veil, I can fulfill my voyeuristic fetishes and consume as much pointless information as I desire. Knowing every mundane tidbit of people's daily lives turns me on. This morning is the same as any other. I stare down at the phone held in my frail hand. My fingers move of their own accord, scrolling and tapping against the backlit display, pausing, pondering, pouncing on any post or picture that my pupils haven't yet consumed. Standing in the train carriage, packed to the gills with people, I can't help but feel my face getting flushed and my steamy breath escaping my lips. I digest post after post, photo after photo, memorising the comings and goings of every single person on my noise activity feed. I catch my breath getting heavier, my gas becoming short and sharp. Ray went to the dentist yesterday for a root canal. Mizuno shared some photos from her international vacation. Kawahara objects to owning pets and thinks all animals should be free. My cheeks glow crimson. My chest begins rising and falling quickly. I clutch the collar of my shirt, knuckles whitening, knees shaking. A few people in the carriage start to move away from me, but I barely notice them. My fingers keep scrolling, and I hit the jackpot. A new post from my co-worker at my office, Tomo Watanabe. She's a gal girl, the type with heavy fake tan, bleach blonde hair, and questionable clothes. I hate her, but I love her posts. This morning's update reads, Tomo Mo, 53 minutes ago. Just found this corpse girl website. Such fake bull. Waiting to meet a bitch to try it on. Tomo just discovered Corpse Girl's website, her. I feel a slight squeal trying to escape from my throat as my legs threaten to buckle underneath me. I can't take the excitement anymore, and I have to force my phone from my hands and bury it at the bottom of my handbag. Deep breaths, Noriko. Deep breaths. I need to calm down and control myself. Composure is key. I close my eyes and let a cool breath of air whistle through my slightly parted lips. Feeling a little calmer and no longer ready to explode, I analyse the information I just read. Tomo wants to try out Corpse Girl's website. That's good. That's very, very good. Rumour has it you can visit the website and request the death of somebody you know. How? And if the victim dies isn't known to the public. Because of that, some people are pretty quick to dismiss the site as a hoax. However, the most interesting part isn't how or if the victim dies, but rather what happens to the victim before they die. Supposedly, the victim will receive a photo of their own corpse. How this photo exists before the victim's life is snuffed out isn't public knowledge, but the thought of this phenomena occurring is utterly intriguing. Nevertheless, the site has been gaining popularity lately, at least in certain corners of the internet. Message boards like Noise Channel and other similar sites have picked up on the rumours and like to exaggerate the website's authenticity. The fact that someone like Tomo, a rather dense, dim-witted individual, has discovered the website means that it's actually more well known than I previously thought. It means that people are actually talking about it outside the internet. Chances are good that Tomo will want to try it out and request the death of someone in the office. A co-worker. Me, perhaps. She hates my guts as much as I hate hers. Finally, something exciting is going to happen in our dull workplace.
The next station is Shinjuku. The doors on the right side will open. Please change here for the Chuo line, the Shonan Shinjuku line, the Saikyo line.
As the automated announcement reads through a list of connecting train lines, I get ready to disembark. I have to get ready to close my window so that you can't hear the people mowing their lawn. Apologies for that. It is boiling hot today, by the way, so I'm going to slowly swelter here, so enjoy that in the top left corner. The train pulls to a stop and I contort my body around the other passengers in an attempt to exit the train. Finally freed the tangled mass of flesh, I hasten my pace and navigate through the labyrinthine station. I take the exit closest to my office and settle into a slower walk. I'm on time, and I never desired to reach the office any earlier than needed. It doesn't take long for the looming office tower to enter my field of vision. 32 stories of office space all crammed into one sleek, slim tower. The name Temujin is stamped across the structure in gigantic block letters. If you're looking for this building in Shinjuku, you can't possibly miss it. Temujin carries the title of Japan's third biggest banking corporation. It's a gigantic company with other branches in Kyoto, Osaka, Sapporo, Fukuoka. I don't know how to pronounce that honestly. Fukuoka? Maybe it's Fukuoka. That sounds more right. Fukuoka and a dozen smaller cities I don't even remember. I've worked here for close to 3 months now. Not a long time in the grand scheme of things. That said, I'm only a temp and all I do is data entry. I work on the 14th floor along with about 60 other junior employees, including gal girl Tomo Watanabe. I don't speak to many of my co-workers. That's the way I like it. When I reach the building, I enter through the giant double sliding doors and find myself in the familiar lobby. Comfortable couches line the walls circling the reception desk. 4 large elevators are tucked away in a nook behind the reception desk. It's already busy this morning, though to be fair, this place is packed all the time. I avoid the crowds of sharply dressed business people, feeling a little out of place in my semi-formal shirt and skirt. Ducking into a newly opened elevator, I tap my employee ID card to a backlit panel and press the button for my floor. The doors close and the elevator begins its smooth ascent. I'm surprised to find that I'm the only one travelling up. I reach my floor and listen to the soothing chimes as the doors open, revealing the open layout office before me. The static drone of the workspace noise fills my ears. Conversation, ringing phones, fingers tapping against the keyboards, photocopiers. Even the steady low hum of the air conditioner contributes to the overall din. I make my way to my desk, stationed in the middle of the floor, and surrounded by a dozen other identical desks. As I walk, somebody taps me on the shoulder gently.
Good morning, Kurosawa.
Hello, Shinya. Shinya Fujikawa, my senior, though he's really only a couple of months older than me. He's worked here for a whole year after taking an internship straight out of senior high school. He's not an intern anymore, though I'm not quite sure of his job title.
Morning, Fujikawa.
How was your commute this morning?
Fine. Same as usual.
That's good to hear. Did you read any of your novels?
He's referring to the horror books I like to read. I can tell from his tone that he doesn't exactly approve the subject matter. I've known Shinya since junior high. We go way back, but I wouldn't exactly call us friends. However, he is the one that landed me this job, even though it's just a temporary contract. I've always had the feeling that he's a bit sweet on me. I could be way off the mark, though.
Well, I couldn't get a seat on the train today. Too hard to read while standing.
Ah, that's a shame. You, still haven't accepted my, friend request, did you know?
Poor Shinya. I have to fight the urge to roll my eyes. He's a nice guy, but we were connected on Noise once before and I had to delete him. He's super obsessed with his father's detective work, and all he ever posts about is his assumptions and theories on petty crime cases. Normally I'd find anyone on my friend list fascinating, but here's the thing. Shinya never posts about his personal life. All he writes are long-winded rants and boring cases. It's far beyond the amount of dullness even I can stand. I fish my phone out of my handbag and pretend that I'm looking at Noise.
Oh, how about that? Looks like I don't have any incoming friend requests.
I quickly dip my phone back into my bag.
How peculiar. Well, I'll try and nudge again later.
We're going to be put onto Corpse Girl's website by this guy, aren't we?
Sure, no problem.
Well, anyway, I better get to it. Work hard today, okay?
You got it.
Shinya offers a formal bow and goes on his way. Before I can take a step toward my desk, a mocking voice whispers in my ear.
How long are you gonna lead on sweet little Shinya?
I have a question, Tomoe. You're in a workplace, you might want to, use a few more of your buttons on your shirt. They're not charging per button you use. I shiver and find Tomoe Watanabe lurking right behind me, buzzing around my neck like an irritating mosquito.
That poor boy really has the hots for you. When are you gonna tell him you're a cold-hearted psycho?
Okay, that's extreme.
Listen, I'm not leading him on, and I'm no psycho.
Well...
Sounds like something a real psycho type would say, don't you reckon?
Of course, this is none other than Gal Girl Tomoe. The very same brain-dead moron who posted this morning about wanting to try Corpse Girl's website. She's the kind of person that likes to stir up trouble and instigate conflict. She's had her vacant eyes on me since the day I first stepped foot in the office. She loves to torment me any chance she gets. Maybe I rubbed her the wrong way somehow, though I'm not sure what I ever did to her. Even though she's a data entry temp like me, she's worked here just a little longer than I have. Unfortunately, that means I have to defer to her as my superior in this professional environment. Is that really how this works? Is it just who got there first wins? She knows much and likes to take advantage of the fact as often as possible.
It's funny, you know. He don't look like the type of skank to lead on a goody-goody like Shinya.
I told you, I'm not leading him on.
Well, if you're not interested, maybe I'll take him out this weekend and tongue him at the cinema.
Don't ever say that again.
Gross. Do what you want, but I doubt he's into someone with your, looks.
Oh yeah? What would you know? You think he likes your flat chest, little Miss Gothic Lolita?
We're going to need a burn heel for this. I know I should shrug off comments such as this, and normally I would. But backing down from Tomoe isn't something I can do easily.
I'll give you a tip. Guys like Shinya are smart. Clever. If you want to impress him, don't let him know your head is as full of air as your inflatable breasts.
Boom! A flash of crimson lights up Tomoe's face as she looks ready to lash out at me. A group of co-workers, juniors like us, look over to us in concern. Tomoe takes a step back from me, but not before signalling a rude gesture with her fingers.
We ain't done here, Noriko. Watch your back.
Yeah, we're going on that website.
I'm trembling.
Tomoe walks away and I breathe a sigh of relief. If it wasn't for having to deal with her, I wouldn't dread coming to work every day. Anyway, I wonder when she's planning to test out Corpse Girl's website. Will she try it on me since we just fought? I'm not really sure if I should be excited or scared. Either way, it will definitely be fun to find out what happens if she just tried the website. I finally reach my desk and take note of the time. I was supposed to start working 5 minutes ago, so I quickly log into my computer and check today's task list. It's all standard stuff today. I need to transfer a few tables of numbers from a spreadsheet into our company's online database. When I'm done, I have to run it by a few other people and then commit the changes to the server. The work is dull and repetitive, but my salary isn't bad. On the plus side, I get to wear headphones and listen to music while I work. I dip into my handbag and retrieve my headphones, my phone and a can of milk coffee, and a handful of breath mints. I lay them all out on my desk neatly. I slip my headphones on, plug them into my phone and hit play on my work playlist. Loud symphonic metal lovingly thrashes my ears as I crack open the can of coffee and take a long sip.
Okay, let's get started.
I return home to my quiet, cramped apartment after work. The place is eerily silent, a stark contrast to the bustling office where I spend my days. Throwing my handbag onto the tiny coffee table, I pick up my laptop and sit on the couch. I lie back and get comfortable, letting the laptop rest on my stomach as it boots up. The welcome screen loads up, so I click a couple of times, open my web browser, and then head to a very specific website saved in my favourites. Corpse Girl's website. A cute dancing zombie girl is animated at the top of the page, a peculiar irregularity that always makes me giggle. I notice that the page view counter at the bottom of the site is nearly the same as it was yesterday. There have been maybe 4 or 5 new visitors. I have a sigh. Maybe the website isn't quite that well known, after all. That begs the question, how did Tomoe discover it? Well, never mind that. My eyes scan the website's content. Request a death. Big bold letters headline the site. The intention couldn't be clearer. Further information on the site is sparse. Brief instructions tell the user to fill in the victim's phone number and upload a photo. Aside from that, there's not much else to mention. It doesn't even ask for a name. After scanning the site, I move my mouse to the browser's address bar and click. I type a / after the website's address and then add the word admin. I hit the enter key. We are a hacker girl. A login page presents itself with an empty username and password fields waiting to be filled in. My fingers tap dance around the keyboard, and within moments, I am presented with a brand new page. A blinking slab of text greets me. One new request. A crooked smile cracks my stony expression. Finally, somebody has requested a death. Somebody has asked me, Corpse Girl, to kill a victim. This is where things get exciting. I giggle and feel my cheeks flush red. This is the first request I've had for about a week. I've been logging in every evening, fingers crossed that somebody has elected a new victim for me. Today my wish has come true. I can't help but feel emotional at times like this. My lower lip trembles and I feel tears welling up. I dab the corners of my eyes gently to avoid smudging my makeup. As I hover my mouse cursor over the View Request button, a familiar and pleasant tingling sensation surges in my chest, my stomach, my thighs. I shiver with anticipation, my hot and steamy breath beginning to fog up the laptop screen. I click the button. Request details. Today, 2:47 PM local time. Victim's phone. Downloading image attachment. The victim's photo automatically loads onto my screen. The person in front of me is a total stranger, but that's okay. It doesn't change the task set out before me. A woman, rather plain, in her early 30s. She's well dressed with minimal makeup, and she's not really putting her personality on display. It's a nice photo, better quality than some of the images I've received in the past. In fact, the photo looks like a corporate ID picture. I wonder if it was downloaded from a company database or website. Well, the source of the photo doesn't matter. The simple fact of the matter is that somebody has made a request for this person to die. It falls to me to fulfill that request, and as Corpse Girl, I take requests very, very seriously. I have the victim's photo and I have her phone number. All I need now is to select a way for her to meet her untimely demise. I previously thought about including an extra field on my website, an option for the user to choose the way they want their victim to die. After all, it would reduce the amount of strain on my creativity if the method was decided for me. But after careful consideration, I decided against it. Some people are sick, twisted. The cause of death could be far beyond my means and impossible to achieve. Therefore, allowing the user to define the cause of death just isn't feasible. Instead, I'll stick to my current modus operandi. Everything depends on the quality of the victim's photo. If it's detailed and the victim features are easily distinguishable, then I can be rather creative with the cause of death. Perhaps the victim's face suffers grotesque burns, or she has an iron stake thrust through her skull. However, if the victim's photo is low quality and doesn't provide enough detail to identify the subject, I have to resort to the default cause of death. A terrible, unlucky fall from a great height. Maybe she slips, or maybe someone stumbles into her and sends her tumbling over a rail. The end result will be the same, a swift, crushing death from on high. The victim will end up face down on the concrete, completely unrecognisable, save for her clothes and accessories. It's not my favourite cause of death, but in some cases it is necessary. Regardless, it is still a valid way to fulfill the request. For now, it's time to get started. I can barely contain my excitement. I squirm against the couch, crossing and uncrossing my legs in a vain attempt to dissipate the heat rising through my body. Taking a deep breath, I try to calm my nerves and get to work. The victim will receive a photo of her own corpse, timestamped with the date of her death. It's Corpse Girl's signature move, my calling card if you will. Seeing an image of one's own disfigured corpse is sure to strike fear into one's heart. And that's precisely the reason I take this step, to make the victim panicked and act rashly. First things first, I save the victim's photo to my laptop hard drive. I store it in a folder discreetly named System Files. Is it Win32? Hidden away in the root directory of my operating system. A password encrypted directory, of course. Next, I open up my favourite image editing software and load the photo. Looking carefully at the detail in the picture, I can see that this will be a work of art. I can really go to town with this request. I minimise the software, open my web browser and access a particular website. The database of the deceased, the DD, as it's known on the dark web, my secret weapon, the ultimate resource for my work. The DD is a collection of countless high-resolution photographs of dead bodies. Murder victims, crime scenes, suicides. If somebody has died, in one way or another, chances are good that some perverted individuals captured the moment in all its gory glory. Such valuable images are essential to my work. Using these photos as the base, I can edit my victims' details into the picture. My process is simple. I start by locating the perfect corpse photo. I search the database and in less than 2 minutes, I discover a disgustingly detailed photo of a woman with her entrails spilling from her stomach. Her face is blue, having suffocated before even having a chance to bleed to death. She's about the same age as my victim. She's of similar height and build. Finding a photo that specifically suits my victim's features is easy thanks to the DD's excellent catalogue of tags and filters. I simply search for the keywords that match my victim's description and find a corpse that fits. Using this photo as a starting point, I digitally edit my victim's face onto the body. It's not some quick job that even a child can do. It's painstakingly crafted work of art that would fool even the keenest eye. An hour passes, then 2, then 3. Before I know it, midnight has come and gone, but the work is nearing completion. All that remains is to add the final touches. I like to add specific distinguishable details to the image. A personal item or accessory, clothes, makeup, you name it, I can edit in. With personal details added, I adjust the lighting and colour palette, just slightly, enough to make the photo truly unique. If the victim decides to reverse image search the photo and discovers that it's a forgery, all my work would be for naught. And with that, the masterpiece is complete. A grisly, gruesome, gratuitously gory gift for the soon-to-be departed. The victim will receive this photo of a corpse that is, for all intents and purposes, a perfect replica of their own physical form. She will open the image on her phone, and the life she once knew will crumble to pieces. My lips curl into a satisfied smirk. During my hours of work, my breathing eventually steadied. My excited nerves settled into a zen-like calm. But, seeing the finished art piece now, I begin to feel my heart pounding once more. The macabre vision before me is exhilarating. Adrenaline and dopamine surge throughout my body, giving me a sudden head rush of bliss. To say that I'm attracted to the sight of blood and guts would be misleading. No, I'm not into that at all. The excitement stems from the thought of taking control of somebody else's life, dictating their future, controlling their fate. For with the creation of this image, I have taken the victim's life into my own hands, like a puppet master pulling the strings of a marionette. By forging this convincing creation, I will compel the victim to take her own life. That's right. My own hands need not become stained. The hands of Corpse Girl has never been dirtied with the blood of a victim. This is the true nature of my work. Carefully crafting corpse photos in such a way to convince the victim that their fate is already sealed, that no matter what they do, they cannot escape the death that awaits them. And the date stamped on the photo is the icing on the cake, the ultimate driving force behind the victim choosing to end their own life. A date so near in the future, a time that has not yet occurred. A fibre of uncertainty carefully interwoven into the image that causes the victim to pause and consider the possibilities. Is this photo from the future? Is this truly my fate? How can I outrun a future that's been pre-decided? These are the thoughts that run through a victim's mind. Despair and dread flood the senses. Overwhelming anxiety gives way to calm acceptance. This is my dead body. This is how I die. Why should I fight it? And when the victim's last vestige of resistance gently breaks, like a silk spider web being torn by a cool breeze, they finally give in. They invite their end. This is the way it will go down for this woman, this complete and total stranger. I'm confident, certain, convinced. It was a sudden spark of inspiration that guided me to begin fabricating corpse photos about a year ago. I can never quite recall exactly what it was that spawned the idea. Sometimes I get close to remembering, but the recollection dances at the edge of my mind and slips back into the darkness. Regardless, I ventured down a dark and dangerous path. I built Corpse Girl's website and invited strangers to request the deaths of people they knew. It was a sales tactic, simply a way to encourage users to submit images. I had no intention or means of ending lives. Little did I know of the true power I wielded. I only intended to create corpse photos and send them to people for fun. I wanted to startle and scare some unsuspecting fools. It would be a lie to claim that I didn't get off on it. The thought of people shrieking in fear at the sight of their own corpse was more than delicious. It sated my budding lust. It filled a dark hole in the depths of my soul and gave me purpose. Never in a million years did I dream that one of my corpse photos would result in the death of another human being. I'll never forget her name, Rory Hatano. 20-something, slim, gorgeous, eyes that took my breath away the moment I gazed upon her portrait. She was the first person to make me feel bad about crafting hoax photos. The only person to make me feel bad about it. But I did it anyway. Corpse Girl never rejects a request. It's her, my conviction. I forged a beautiful rendition of her death. Thanks to some rather macabre source photos obtained via the database of the deceased, I strung Rory's corpse up in a field like a ghoulish scarecrow. The photo was incredible. It was my 5th or 6th work. The 5th or 6th time a user of Corpse Girl's website requested a death. Rory Hatano died just hours after receiving the photo. I don't know why. I don't know if she killed herself or if someone murdered her. But I know one thing. Rory Hatano's body, her real body, was found in a field, hanging like a scarecrow, surrounded by crows. Her eyes had been gouged out of her skull, and her stiff fingers clutched the phone tightly. According to the news report, her phone displayed a familiar image, the very image I created of her corpse. When I first learned of Rory's death, I was overcome with varying emotions. I felt sick, elated, disgusted, overjoyed, depressed, aroused. Had I somehow caused her death? Was Corpse Girl responsible for taking her life? Even though my hands weren't stained with blood, I still felt responsible. A lurid? I don't think I've ever heard this word. A lurid truth descended upon me at that moment. Corpse Girl held the power to end lives, and the more I dwelled on that fact, the more obvious it became to me. I began to feel the power pulsing through my veins, thrumming into my blood as my heart pumped and pounded within my chest. I can't explain how the power works, and I don't know why I have it. But somehow, the corpse photos I create can compel a victim to end their own life, or compel someone else to end it for them. Rory died in the way that I envisioned. Her dead body matched the fake corpse photo I painstakingly crafted, and I didn't even have to leave the safety and comfort of my apartment to ensure her death. Corpse Girl's power is real, extraordinary, and I vowed to exercise that power as frequently as possible. Rory Hatano died last year. Since then I've been chasing that rush, that thrill that comes with snuffing out a soul. It wasn't hard to grow the popularity of Corpse Girl's website after that incident. Particularly dark corners of the internet gobbled up the news with enthusiasm and the site saw an influx of new visitors. And on a few occasions, I even overheard people in the real world whispering about the mysterious website that lets you request a death. I've crafted corpse photos for dozens of requests. Each photo is more convincing and realistic than the last, thanks to my ever-evolving skills. But none of my recent attempts have been successful. Not a single person has dropped dead since Rory Hatano. I'm beginning to wonder if Corpse Girl's power has fizzled out. Or perhaps I never had any power to begin with. Maybe Rory's death was simply a fluke, a morbid coincidence. I spent countless hours doubting myself, doubting Corpse Girl, I've tried so hard to replicate that one success. Every time I receive a request, I do the same thing as I did in Rory Hatano's case. I edit the photo of the victim, I create a convincing corpse photo, and then I timestamp it with a time of death. And I send the photo to the victim, and I leave the rest up to fate. But nothing ever comes of it. I'm not so delusional to think that, in normal circumstances, a simple photo would be enough to convince someone to kill themselves. And even if that photo fell into someone else's hands, it wouldn't inspire them to go out and kill the victim. Of course not. However, these are no ordinary circumstances. I once activated a power beyond the ken of mortal men. I caused Rory Hatano to die by her own hand, or by the hand of another. I need to find a way to manifest my power once more, to prove that I, Corpse Girl, have the power of death and destruction at my fingertips. Once a new victim perishes? Yeah, that's a better word than perishes. Once a new victim perishes, I know it will pave the way to more and more deaths. My website will gain popularity and become more than just an urban myth. People will live their lives in fear, forever wondering if Corpse Girl is lurking behind the next text message that they receive. Yes, I can see the future I crave so clearly in my mind. I'm close to achieving my goal. I know I am. And when my dream comes true, I can finally... May 26th, Tuesday morning. The incessant chirping of birds gently kindles the embers of my consciousness. My heavy eyelids open to find my body contorted before me, legs splayed across the couch in the most uncomfortable position I can imagine. I groan and twist my torso, letting my spine pop and crack until the aches in my body drift away. I need to stop falling asleep on the couch. I'm still young, but I can't handle a night away from my comfortable bed. My eyes fall upon my open laptop, lying on its side on the floor. The screen is blank, the battery drained. I briefly panic, hoping against hope that I save my work before falling asleep. I stumble to my feet and pick up the laptop, then charge toward the power outlet. I plug in and boot up, revitalizing the mechanical beast and feeling a wave of relief as the whirring of the internal fans signify the breath of life. The screen flickers and bathes my eyes in harsh light. My eyes squint against my will, and I make out the image before me. The mutilated corpse of my latest victim. Perfection in picture form. The timestamp of the lower corner reads May 27th, 11:07 AM. Tomorrow's date. The photo is ready to be sent out. If I send it now, the victim will receive it immediately, notice the date and realise her death is imminent. It's time to set the wheels of her demise in motion. Leaving my laptop at the outlet, I quickly dart into the kitchen. Well, to call it a kitchen is misleading. It's simply a tiled area connected to my living space with a small refrigerator, microwave oven, and a single hot plate. A small stack of drawers is nestled against the fridge, and I pull open the second drawer from the top. Plunging my hand inside is always an odd sensation. My fingers get buried underneath a dozen cheap plastic flip phones. I grasp one of the phones between my thumb and forefinger and remove it from the drawer. It's a scratched up pink model from 2010 or so, a relic from a time not all that long ago, but that may as well be forgotten. I flip the screen up and turn the device on, relieved to see this artifact still holds power. To be fair, I charged up all of these phones just a few weeks ago, but the fact they retain a charge after being inactive for so long is a testament to their engineering. In any shady line of work, these kind of phones are referred to as burners. Cheap, disposable devices that are discarded as soon as their purpose is fulfilled. I acquired them by a rather unsavoury means, but that's neither here nor there. I use these phones to send out the photos I make. By doing this, I avoid using my personal phone and thus prevent anything from being traced back to me. When a photo's been sent, I keep the burner phone for 24 hours, just in case a victim sends a reply. I know I'd get a good laugh out of that. Of course, I don't keep the phone on my person. I store it in an old shed out the back of my apartment building. When 24 hours has passed, I remove the phone's SIM card, snap it in half, and discard it with the combustible trash. The phone itself gets smashed and trashed in the dumpsters outside the convenience store. I also delete the photos off my hard drive and clear my internet history. Obviously, I don't even use my own internet connection at home. I leech off my gullible neighbour's Wi-Fi. He's under the impression I can't afford my own internet connection. Whether or not I convinced him of such is irrelevant, so he's happy to share his connection with me. Should the police ever try to track my actions, they'll only be led straight to my neighbour. I've gone to great lengths to ensure my actions are untraceable. This has all been in anticipation of my inevitable success. Right. Not gonna lie here, them tracing it back to your neighbour is also pretty bad news bears for you. Because it's like, well, my neighbour also has access to this Wi-Fi, and it's like, this is now 2 suspects out of the whole of the world. Looking down at the pink phone in my hand, I clear my mind and focus on the task before me. The photo is transferred easily from my laptop to the burner phone. Once complete, I open the text messaging app and enter the victim's phone number. I leave the message field blank, but I attach the photo, of course. The victim will receive an empty text message from an unknown number, with only an image attached. The message is just about ready to send, but there's one more flourish I like to add. I open a particular app I previously downloaded to every burner phone. It's simply called Number Mask, and it's one of the most ingenious apps I've ever used. The app asks for the number I want to use. I punch in my memorized trademark, 666 33 666 22 666 44 666. Now, when I send a text message, the receiver will receive see these numbers appear on their caller ID. Not only does it mask the burner's real phone number, but it's an extra calling card to help boost my infamy. I smirk, my thumb hovering over the send message button. This is it. This is going to be my long-awaited victory. The second victim to end up dead. I just know it. This is the stepping stone to my success. The second of many bodies that will pave the way to my glory. I send the message. I arrive at work on time just as usual. My handbag is heavy with the weight of several cans of coffee, hopefully enough to help me power through the day after having such a late night. I can't help but yawn loudly as I wait for the elevator in the lobby. Just before the elevator doors open, my phone starts to ring. I step aside to answer the call.
Hey. Hi, Noriko. Good morning. Did I call at a bad time?
Hello, Aoi.
Not at all. I'm just about to go into the office.
Oh, should I call back later?
It's no problem. Don't stress.
Okay, sorry.
The nervous, apologetic girl on the other end of the call is Aoi, Sato, an old school friend from back in the day. Though we never really had any common interests, we used to be inseparable at school. She was shy, I was introverted. It was a combination that worked in our favour, even if our conversations were a little on the boring side. To say that we're no longer shy and introverted wouldn't be entirely true. Aoi has gotten better. She's definitely more outgoing, but she still suffers from a great deal of social anxiety. As for me, I'm still pretty introverted. Yeah, no kidding. My tolerance for being around other people has improved a bit, but I do prefer solitude, and visiting places I've never been to before puts me on edge. To call Aoi my best friend would be accurate. She's my closest confidant. Even so, she knows nothing about my part-time masquerading as Corpse Girl. No one does, and I plan to keep it that way.
So, Aoi, what did you want to talk about?
Oh, well, you see, that guy at work is still bothering me, and I wanted to see if you had any more advice for me.
Ah, jeez. The older guy that always hits on you?
Yeah.
What a creep. You're 19, for God's sake. He must be, what, 50?
I think he's 52.
You know his actual age? Well, whatever. If he's still bothering you, you have to take a stand. He's not your coworker, right? Just a regular customer?
That's right.
Then tell your manager. Have him banned from the venue.
I can't talk to the manager. I don't want to cause trouble for the company.
Jeez, girl. Sometimes you need to stand on your own 2 feet.
I know.
Well, if talking to the manager is out of the question, then you need to be firm with the creep. Tell him you won't stand for being groped anymore. His behavior is simply unacceptable, and if he won't change, you won't serve him anymore.
Okay, groping is going beyond hitting on them.
He's scary, Noriko. I don't know if I can confront him like that. He's always drunk. Even before he comes into the place, I try not to serve him too much, but...
Cheers, by the way.
Are you sure you can't quit that stupid job? Working at a maid cafe really doesn't suit you at all. I thought you wanted a government position.
I do. I want to work in a cozy office, kind of like you, but you know I don't have any qualifications.
Why don't I see if there's anything open here? Maybe Shinya can help out. He got me this job, remember?
Shinya, maybe. He was always a nice guy, right?
He's super nice. Stick in the mud, but a nice one.
Noriko, don't be mean.
Yeah. You want me to ask?
Yes, please. If it's no trouble.
It's no trouble. I'll talk to Shinya. Then maybe you can quit that crappy job and come work with me.
Oh, that really does sound wonderful. Thank you, Noriko. I'd be so lost without you.
Don't be silly. You're amazing, Aoi. Leave this to me.
Thank you.
I end the call and heave a sigh. Having to go and ask Shinya about the job actually is a pain in the ass, but I'd never admit that to Aoi. I want to help the poor girl. I really do. I'd do nearly anything for her. The elevator arrives at the lobby and I step inside as soon as the doors open.
Good morning, Kurosawa.
Yeah, we still haven't had that friend request yet. Oh, sorry, my phone doesn't have charge. Yeah, sorry. It's not you. It's me. It's me. I'm sorry.
Fujikawa. Good morning.
Shinya takes me by surprise as I exit the elevator. Has he been waiting for me here?
I wanted to catch you before we sit down to work. I sent you another friend request. Can you make sure you got it this time?
Ah, jeez.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
What am I supposed to do when he puts me on the spot like this? I try not to groan as I get my phone out and open up noise. It's impossible to hide my screen from Shinya's piercing gaze.
Well, what do you know? I have a new friend request.
Oh, great. It worked this time. Go ahead and accept it, please.
Yeah, sure thing.
I hesitantly accept the request. A little fireworks animation pops up on the screen with a celebratory message about making a new friend.
Yay! Looks like we're officially friends now. So, can I call you Noriko from now on?
I've never cared much for formalities. I try to adhere to them in the workplace, but honestly, I don't care if people refer to me by my first or last name, regardless of whether they're friends or not.
That's fine. You can call me Noriko.
Shinya's eyes light up. That seems to have made the boy happy.
Thank you! Oh, you can call me Shinya, of course.
Yep, I am, because that's what you're titled.
Shinya. Hey, we've known each other since junior high, right? Shouldn't we have been on a first-name basis anyway?
Yes, that's true, but we're in the office now, you know? It wouldn't do if you started working here and called me Shinya right away.
I suppose.
Anyway, I'm really glad we're proper friends now, Noriko. Maybe we can get a coffee sometime.
I can't help but feel he's trying to push his luck as far as it will go. Any suspicions I had about him having a crush on me are now confirmed. I brush a stray lock of my hair out my face and smile as sweetly as I can while I change the subject.
Hey, actually, I wanted to ask you something. Are there any more temp jobs available here right now?
Temp jobs, huh? Are you looking to pick up extra hours?
No, not exactly. I'm asking for a friend who needs a new job.
A friend of Noriko's. Well, let's see. We pretty much always have data entry roles up for grabs. Unless your friend wants something more interesting? Do they have any particular qualifications?
Not really. Data entry is more than fine. Actually, you already know who I'm talking about. Remember Aoi Sato?
Aoi Sato. Yes, I think I do remember her. That really shy girl from our school days, correct?
That's the one.
That's her, yeah.
Wow. I never knew you were still in touch with school friends, Noriko.
Aoi's probably the only one. We're fairly close.
Ouch.
Is that so? As for me, I don't really have any friends from back then.
Shinya's heartbreaking confession doesn't surprise me too much. He doesn't strike me as the type of person to have many friends at all. Sure, I'm the same, but...
Oh, but what am I saying? We're friends now. So I guess I do keep in touch with school friends.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess so.
Hey, I'll ask my superior if we can get Sato an interview. Is that okay?
I'd really appreciate that. Thank you, Shinya.
No problem. Leave it to me.
He gives me an awkward salute before skipping away. Our little exchange has obviously made him pretty happy. For some reason, something that Tomoe Watanabe said yesterday pops into my head. She mentioned that I'm leading Shinya on, but that's not true, is it? I shake the thought out of my head. I'm just being nice to him. That's not wrong, is it? I take a seat at my desk and perform my morning ritual. From my handbag I retrieve my headphones, coffee and breath mints. Computer on, music playing, coffee open. My fingers tap rhythmically against the keyboard, and I slip into the usual workday trance.
So, I see that you're connected with Shinya on Noise now, huh?
My walk to the train station is interrupted by a familiar grating voice.
Sounds like both of you are getting on pretty well.
How did you...
Oh, of course. Tomoe and I are already friends on Noise. She would have seen the notification when I accepted Shinya's request. It's actually kind of strange that Tomoe and I are connected through the app. We added each other on my first day of work, before I learned how much of an intolerable excuse for a human being she is. We simply never deleted each other, even after all these months. Her posts are entertaining anyway. And since I rarely ever post anything of myself, she probably forgot we were connected at all, until today.
Now look, don't get me wrong, you hear? I ain't actually interested in Shinya. Nah, I'm real happy for you both, like. But what I can't stand is a skank like yourself getting some while I'm over here all dry like a desert.
Excuse me?
What the hell are you talking about?
It pisses me off that guys just sluts like you, and you barely have to put in any work.
Excuse me. Sluts like me, have you seen your shirt at the moment? Working in an office space. It's crazy.
Meanwhile, nice girls like me gotta put in so much effort to even get noticed.
I can see you've put all that effort into not buttoning up your shirt.
And all of this is just natural. I put so much effort into how I look, you know? And guys like Shinya don't even bat an eyebrow at me.
You mean bat an eyelid, right?
Whatever, it don't matter. I'm sick of skanks like you getting everything for nothing.
Look, let me be honest with you. I'm not interested in Shinya, and I'm not trying to be with him. I don't chase guys, and it's pretty rare that they chase me. You've got me all wrong.
Like I'd believe you. Do you spend your time chasing chicks then?
That's not your business. But you don't have to worry about me pursuing Shinya. Tell you what, any guy at the office is all yours, okay? I'm not interested.
Oh, is that how it's gonna be, slut? You think no one is good enough for you, but they're good enough for me?
What is going on here?
You're just like all the other girls. You think I'm worth being pitied? You think I need it?
I think you need a tailor.
Well, I don't want your pity. You're nothing but a fake skank.
Tomoe pushes forward, her bulk forcing me off the sidewalk and into the thicket of trees bordering the path. Okay. The burning slap across my face comes out of nowhere. I'm blinded by white stars and my entire face feels like it's on fire. The strike is hard, vicious, sharp. It happens so suddenly that I'm having difficulty processing it. I stumble but my legs don't quite give out. My mind races trying to put together what just happened. Tomoe hit me. Why? Why did she hit me? There's a strange sort of disconnect in my mind. My body doesn't feel like my own. Like this isn't actually happening to me, but rather, I'm watching it happen to someone else. Time seems to slow down and speed up all at once. The slap replays twice in my mind before Tomoe's hand even leaves my face. I catch a glimpse of her furious expression, red and strained and overcome with anger.
I hate you. I hate everyone like you. Don't pity me.
The second strike connects with my chin and I flinch my entire body, paralysed with pain. She hit me again?
Stop! I hate you. I hate you!
Tomoe has lost it. She's absolutely furious and I can't figure out what I did wrong. Her third attack is a curled fist aimed straight at my stomach. Through sheer luck or complete accident, I tumble backward, narrowly avoiding the punch, and instead landing on my rear. The pavement is rough and hard, but I'm sure it feels a lot better than taking a fist in the gut. Tomoe screams and rushes at me, but I scramble to my feet and grab her by the wrists. She flails wildly, her eyes looking like they'll pop out of her skull at any given second. Her breathing is harsh and ragged, and tears of rage have caused a flood of clotted makeup to run down her face.
Calm down! Calm down!
She struggles against me, slowly giving in as She struggles against me, slowly giving in as my tight grip prevents her from attacking me further. She begins to sob softly.
I hate you! I hate everything about you!
That's not sobbing softly. With a great pull, Tomoe frees herself from my grip. She steps away, cursing, and then runs past me. I blink in disbelief as she breaks into a sprint, heading in the direction of the train station. I raise a hand to my tender face and touch it gently. The stinging sensation is completely new to me. Never before have I been attacked like that.
What the hell was all that about? I can't believe she hit me.
The pack of frozen vegetables pressed against my face soothes my swollen jaw, but there was very little to calm my nerves. I'm still on edge after what happened today. Tomoe actually physically attacked me, all because I said something? I'm not sure what. That provoked her anger? Maybe that girl is more complicated than I gave her credit for. Seems like she has her own inner demons, just like the rest of us. I've replayed the event in my head 100 times since returning home. Without confronting Tomoe about it, I don't think I'll ever figure out what incited her aggression. But I don't plan on talking to her about it anytime soon. I wouldn't say I'm scared of her, but I don't exactly want to encourage a repeat performance. I rest the bag of frozen vegetables on the small coffee table next to me. I think I've done all I can do to reduce the painful swelling for now. Sighing and leaning back, I let the soft padding of the couch consume my body as I sink deeper. My eyes glaze over as I bring my phone to my face. My fingers lazily tap and scroll as I look through a carefully curated obituary newsfeed, a list of deaths that have been reported throughout the day. Using a set of handy filters, I narrow the feed down to include only women's deaths in the age range of 30 to 50. I set the location to cover all of Japan. I immediately exclude any results that mention natural causes of death. I'm looking for specific cases, suicides, or, as is more often reported, accidents. Of course, I'm looking to find out whether my latest victim has offered herself yet. Should this search string return no results, then it's pretty easy to look up recent murders. There's few and far between. Between suicides, accidents, and murders, I've covered all the potential ways my victim could die. 9 out of 10 of the search results include a photograph of the deceased. Not a photo of their corpse, mind you. This isn't the database of the deceased I'm looking through. Rather, it's usually a nice, flattering picture of the recently departed, submitted by their kin to go along with their obituary. I use the photos submitted with obituaries to compare and match with the images of my victims. This is the only reliable way I have to discover whether or not my victims have perished. If I knew a victim's name, I could easily look up their current fate, but my website doesn't ask for that information. Call it respect for the victim's privacy, but there's a lot more to it than that. But that's a topic to dwell on another day. Tonight's search turns up no solid leads. I'm disappointed, but this result isn't entirely unexpected. After all, I set the date on my latest victim's photograph to tomorrow. There's still time for it to freak out and end it all. I decide to go to sleep early tonight. I'm not even feeling hungry enough to eat the cheap convenience store meal that's been sitting in my fridge since yesterday. Though, if I go to sleep now, it will feel like tomorrow arrives sooner. Tomorrow? I'll have to see tomorrow at work. There's no way I can avoid her since her desk is so close to mine. The idea doesn't sit well with me. Listen, just tell Shinya and she'll be on the obituary pages. On the other hand, my victim might conquer herself, which would definitely make me feel better. It could very well be my next success, and the suspense is just enough to kill me. Tomorrow. May 27th, Wednesday morning. Okay, I think I'm going to leave this episode here. Man, this honestly sped up rapidly. I was expecting this little slow burner, slowly discovering what the Corpse Girl website is, but clearly there is stuff that, there's stuff that's going on behind the scenes other than what we're doing, and I guess we're going to slowly, unpackage what's happening there. But man, we know who Corpse Girl is. It's me. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching this. If you're enjoying it, why not leave a like, comment, subscribe? Everything helps me out. And I'll see you next time, where hopefully this room is not an oven again. Goodbye.